want to pick a few of the points that I made there. Money is not the most important benefit of work. For you to really prosper, the first step is God to deliver you from working for money. Now, I know some of you may not believe that, but that is the first deliverance that you actually need. You need to be delivered from working for money before you can really, really benefit from work, because you start to value work for whatever it is, for what it is, not just because of what you get out of it, because of the reward. We certainly will always get reward for money, but that deliverance is so, so important for you as an individual to be totally freed from working for money. I can see some eyes here looking at me as if I'm coming from Mars, but that is exactly what happens when God takes you through a situation that will make you extremely prosperous and rich, because these people who become billionaires, they don't focus on money. They focus on meeting needs, a specific need, and money automatically follows them. When you look at them, they will be focused on creating a solution, and when you create a solution, then money automatically follows you. And the broader, the bigger the need that you've met, the greater the resources that actually end up coming to you. That is a thought for something else later on, but I want you to make note of that. God has to deliver you from working for money, first and foremost, so that you love work, you love to serve people, and then it starts to give you a lot of resources, because now you're going to use them for emancipating and empowering people. Then, through hard work, God wants you to realize and release your hidden potential. It is through hard work that you release your hidden potential. In you, God has put so many gifts, so many talents. They can only come out if you're hardworking. If you work, your work ethics are not good, the best of you will not come out. It's always when you're under so much pressure, and then you marshal all the gifts, all the talents, so that you can. That is self-actualization. Self-actualization comes through hard work. However gifted you are, if you're not hardworking, those gifts will die. Those talents will die. You will not excel to greatness. Hard work is part and parcel of excellency in every area of life. So it is the key to self-discovery. It is the instrument to multiplying resources and to exercise and establish your dominion wherever. Each one of us was created to solve a problem. And when you are hardworking, those talents of yours come out and you discover your particular niche, and that's how you excel. When you discover that, you're like a fish in the sea. You have no competitor. You're like a bird in the air. When you discover that part, that's when self-actualization comes in the particular area of your giftedness. You have a number of gifts and talents that God has already deposited in you. But if you are lazy in using them, you can never come to that level. And that's why most people die unhappy, frustrated. They wonder why they are not happy even when they get money. Because there is something they never brought out. They really never self-actualized. You find others who may not have a lot of money, but they discovered their niche and they're so happy. They don't even consider money because they are so happy doing this particular thing. Do you agree with me on that? Yes. You find somebody like Ronaldo, so they are not thinking about money per se. They are so interested in this particular thing that they are in, and all their energies are there. Kiprotich, Kiplimo, another Cheptegei, and those people, when they were doing all those things, they were not thinking about what? Money initially. It was, while others were sleeping, they were out. While it was drizzling and raining, they would be. So this was something that now when you find them today in that, gold medalist level, it has not started today when the lights are on. That's what they have been for many years. And finally, the limelight was on them. And all our areas of life are like that. All our gifts are like that. There's something that you have to believe, work for, struggle for, sacrifice for. There must be a vision that is so real to you. And then you work so hard, you are committed to it, you spend sleepless nights. That's how greatness comes. Greatness doesn't come when you only work from 8 to 5 and you are done the day. You're always waiting for 5 minutes to 5 and you go for the toilet because you don't want to use your time for the toilet. So you use those kind of people, even the toilet, they don't want to use their time. So they use the 5 minutes before 5. So that by 5, they already have their handbag and their order work. Now, if you're like that in life, you are not going to achieve very, very much, because it's all about getting as much as you can get in the shortest time, and that kind of attitude about life. Now, work is spiritual and mental and physical. Now, let me first get to this issue here. And I want to use the phones because it is easy to understand. If you buy a new phone, when you buy one, you have to charge it fully. Are you aware of that? Why do you charge it fully the first time? If you don't charge it fully and you keep charging, only, for example, if you only keep charging it 30%, what will happen to that battery? Now, you are constantly using only 30%. You charge it only 30. The next time 30. The next time you are constantly charging it less. And what happens? This part will die with the battery. And after a while, when you put it into the power, it will show 100%, when actually it is what? 30%. Now, our lives are like that. You finish university, you have so much potential. You have so many gifts. But you get a job and you don't want to work to full capacity. You only want to work very little and get so much. Working very little and get so much. 70% of you is not you being used. You are only using what? 30%, and what will happen to the 70%? Now, the real wealth is your capacity. And this is a very dangerous thing, and listen to the impact of the effect of all this. If you are always doing less than your capacity, your talents and your gifts are underutilized. In other words, you are leaving the big part of you idle and disorderly. So this part you are not charging and you're leaving you will eventually lose it. This is, to me, is the biggest problem for most people, especially civil servants or what. Because when you get into a system where you are permanent and what? Pensionable. There is no more dangerous thing than that. Because people have no motivation now to work. I'm sure I will still get my money, the same salary, the same whether I'm working or not. In fact, to fire somebody in the civil service, I hear it's so complicated. Whether they are delivering or not, they made it so complicated to do what? To fire anybody, so people can do without performing and still get away with it. Because the law greatly protects them, which is good. The protection would be very good. Unfortunately, it's misused. Now let's get to this part here. When you are not using most of the gifts and talents that God has given you, and they're lying idle, and you're only using 30, you are not going to self-actualize. The real you God created, the solutions you are supposed to bring to this world, you'll never achieve them. It involves hard work to bring out the best of you. The best of you comes only when you are working your maximum. You see people who have been working, and at age 50, when do you retire in public service? 60. They're so worried about the retirement. When the retirement keeps approaching, they're so scared. Because most of that time they were using what? Most of their best never came out. Incidentally, God wants us to be employed so that you're under some other leader or leadership, so that you can develop skills and increase your capacity. Leadership skills, managerial skills, interpersonal skills, administrative skills. This is your true wealth. It's not the money you get. It's the abilities that you get, the capacities, the skills that you are. That is your true wealth. Money can be stolen, but those cannot be stolen. When you get those skills in life, in the workplace, your immediate supervisor or the system is created to make you a better manager, a better leader, a better administrator, because later on after you leave, the same skills you'll use on your own farm that you have started, in your own company that you have started. Maybe you have started a consultancy. When you leave that job, you start your own consultancy. But if you were lazy in Makerere, you had the opportunity to maximize your managerial skills. You had the opportunity to maximize your leadership skills, your interpersonal skills. You start your consultancy as you are as dull as you were. You cannot be better than what you were because you've taken 20, 30, 40 years in this system, and now you come with the same mediocre in your own what? Company. You can't start different in your company when you are mediocre in Mekele. And the whole thing is that while you are under another leader or an institution, you are bringing out your best. Because for you, you know, one day I'll have my own. The principle of the Bible is this: you've been faithful in another man's vineyard, then God will trust you with your own. So if you have been unfaithful in another person's vineyard, you have not been a good steward of these skills. Even when you start your own, it will be. So this is where the real issue is for you. You should look at it from that angle. That while I'm here, I'm going to do my best. While I'm here, I'm going to run every skill. While I'm here, I'm going to get the contacts, the connections, but I'm going to perfect here. So when I start my own tomorrow, become a consultant, I become whatever, or you own your own farm, whether it's a business farm, a consultancy farm, agricultural farm, the skills that you used, you're going to apply them in your own company. Remember, you've been sowing. You served faithfully, committedly. You'll get good people, committed as you are. Serious stewards as you are, faithful, the same which you sowed, because you're going to reap a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over in your own company, the same way you did. So if you've been faithful in another man's vineyard, God will entrust you with your own. Now, what happens in the academic structures is that I have to keep my position of professorship or what. I cannot allow these people to study and get opportunities. Otherwise, they can take my what? Not you who are here. The ones who didn't come are the ones I'm talking about. So, you see, when people make whatever you are not different from career politicians who get into positions and they don't want to leave. You're not any different. Only that you're doing it in the institution of what? Of learning. You become whatever you become, and you're not helping the people under you to develop because you are insecure of your position. So it becomes kakono. You hold on to it, and you make sure you really mark but those who may come against you because you become insecure. That does not take the nation forward. Does not take the institution forward when people want to make those positions their career. The problem is here. As soon as you get there, work yourself out. Empower as many as you can. What happens? God will promote you. When you empower as many, they are not going to take your position. They can't. They all become your children because you've helped them. You're actually out to help all of them become better. You train all of them, you open opportunities, you open them doors. Then the Lord will start to promote you because you're empowering others. You'll not go down, you'll go up. Where you go, everybody wants to retain you. anywhere you go. Your work ethics are such that you are contagious. You are like Ebola. When you go there, COVID? Okay, you prefer COVID. Yes, okay. So you get into a situation, you get into any company, any institution, your work ethics are so contagious that you change everybody. No company, hotel, what would want to lose such a person? Everywhere you go, they will really, cancer, that's the good word in Uganda. So you are not scared, you are not insecure, because your work ethics are such that you are, everybody wants you. So in Makerere, they want you, but you come and help here. You can go here anywhere, anytime, any place, all the time. That is the proper work ethic. The gifts in you are being utilized fully. Now look at the way that happens. When you are constantly working less than your capacity, this will eventually become your final capacity. And most people retire at this. That's why they are unhappy. They feel like they are useless. After people have retired, they die so quickly. Have you noted that? As soon as they retire and go back to the village, the next time you find them in 5 years, it's as if, from the time of retirement to the time becomes so short, because there's a death inside them. There's something that never came out. They're frustrated, what? But after, if you have, look at this, look at the alternative. Suppose you have been charging your battery fully. When you are given work more than your capacity, you are pressed to the limit. Now that you are charging the battery fully, you are making use of every gift, every talent, every resource. You literally need prayers all the time to complete and finish your work. You are increasing your capacity on a daily basis. What is happening? That you're not just end at the 100% charge. You work to the best of your ability. You are constantly utilizing every gift and talent you've got. So what happens? And then you're still given more work. What will happen? You devise faster and easier ways to finish the work. That is how you increase your capacity. Psalms chapter 4 verse 1 says, in pressure you have enlarged me. I was enlarged when I was under pressure, David said. When you're under pressure, you devise faster means. You learn to multitask. You learn. So there's so much skills you gain when you're working under a lot of pressure. So it becomes normal for you to handle difficult situations, to think fast, to come up and devise better ways. This is what would make you actualize yourself. And so, instead of 100, you have what? 120. This is your true wealth. The reward of money and salary is a secondary issue. It's not the primary issue. The primary issue is this capacity here. The true wealth is that. Look at this hotel. Let's use Serena. How many of us would like to have Serena as yours? None of you. No one, they don't know. Only 1, 2, 3. Okay. How many of you say, I can manage Serena? Give me Serena and I can manage it and make it even better than what it is today. Now, the true wealth is that ability to manage Serena. So don't pray for Serena to get it, because if you can't manage it, you'll never have it. Now, God doesn't give you what you pray for. He gives you what you can manage. So that, yes? God does not give you what you pray for. He gives you what you can manage. So it's a waste of time to keep praying for this, praying for that. Most people spend a lot of time on prayer instead of working on their capacity. Because tomorrow you can get it and you run it down in the next 2-3 years and it is all gone. And people wonder, is this Serena? Yeah. Who got it? The Bosco. When Ugandans took over the properties of Indians. Do you remember that? I'm sure none of you were alive. I was alive then in the 70s. Okay, only 2 of us were there. Okay, we're there. So Idi Amin passed on the road of Kampala Road and kept saying, "Ani this one," and then he was giving those shops to to people free of charge. These are shops full with stock, no loan, and the Ugandans inherited all this wealth without a loan. Can you imagine what happened in only a few years? By the time Amin was overthrown in 79, I was alive. I went across Kampala streets. Many of these big shops had banana bunches, counters. You remember that? You could go through Kampala streets and really wonder. These people got these shops free of charge without any loan to pay. So the real issue is not the shop, it's not Serena. The real issue is what? Managerial skills, administrative skills, leadership skills. All those combined make your capacity. So while under another leader, the pressure they put on you to mark, to do this, to manage, this is the real capacity. This is the real wealth. And you should take it with a good heart. You should not complain, because it is increasing your capacity. It is helping you to become a better leader. When you become a leader of something bigger, you will be handling so many pressures. Can you imagine what President Museveni handles now? You think about it. I heard you had your own what? Please, somebody mentioned we needed to go to the president and ask for this. Then the doctors asking this. So when you become that, whatever position you hold, you have all these demands on you from every angle, but the real issue is your ability to handle so many things without being confused, without falling under the pressure. That's what makes you. That's the real wealth. It's not the money, it's not the salary. It's that ability to handle so many things, so many difficult people. You sit with, I'm sure many times you've met him and he has convinced you and you've gone back. Now, those are interpersonal skills. Those are leadership skills. You have a hotel and the workers want to riot and sit down, strike, and you have ability to sit with them, and all those are wealth. Well, others have to look for money. For you, you just come and talk. And people say, "Kale nga wagambye, kale katuchikole sebo, katuddeyo katugumikire." That by itself is wealth. I can see you don't believe me, and do you agree with me? That is wealth. That is wealth. Some people can accomplish and do so many things with so many little resources because they have ability to communicate with workers, go down to their level, motivate them. That was one of the geniuses of Bonaparte. He was like that. He was a man who could go to the top and then go down to the lowest of the armies. Yeah? When he was fighting in Europe and what, they say he had the ability to motivate the soldiers and could get them to go and die in the front line by just motivating them. Yeah? So you imagine that ability by itself alone. The ability to convince people to die for you. Yeah, to die. 27. Let's go. And that, don't take that lightly. Convincing you here to go and die in the bush fighting a big government, that by itself is big. That is very big. So your leadership includes all those. When you combine them, that is the capacity, that is the true wealth. You start a farm with very little money and get people committed to working on your farm, on your cattle, on your sheep, on your goats, and you always come sit with. By that alone, communicating and sitting with the lowest and the value, by that, doing that alone, that is capacity. So, when God is giving us wealth, he doesn't give us money. He gives us power to get wealth. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 18, you shall remember the Lord your God, because it is he who gives you capacity, power to get wealth. It's not money. It's not. It gives you capacity, the ability to make wealth. That's where it actually comes from. And so this one, I want you to think about it very much. So if you have utilized all the talents and gifts, and you have devised faster and easier means to finish your work, then God gives you more gifts. Luke 19:24. Take the talent from him who is lazy and give it to him who has 10 talents. In other words, people who are lazy in the department will always run away from responsibility. They will give excuses all the time, and you who is hardworking, they add more. Don't complain. Just leave them. Those who are running out from responsibility, they are running out from authority. Responsibility and authority go together. You run out from responsibility, you run out from authority. You lose authority by running away from responsibility. As people abdicate their responsibilities, they are also running away from authority because they go together. Take an example of a husband in a home. He's constantly running out from responsibility and leaving it to the wife. Children brings bank slips, field slips, and say, "Money mama, wait for your mother." They are running out from responsibility, and therefore they are running out from what? From authority. By taking responsibility, you are the man, you are responsible for everything. It's just you delegate some. The cooking is supposed to be the man to cook. So he delegates that to the wife. The washing of dishes, so everything, you as the head, you are responsible. You only delegate. I can see men who are everything, you as the head, you are the one responsible. The government is not the one to look after your children, not the one to pay your school fees. You brought these children into the world. You knew you were supposed to dress them. You can't say government to Yambe. You should be planning for your... Now, when they fail, what do they become? They become, lazy, irresponsible, and they lose their authority. That's a big problem. Anyway, so your true wealth is this one. This is your true wealth. So God takes the talent from the lazy ones and gives them to the responsible. Now, some of you are heads of departments. What do you do when you are leaving? To whom do you leave your responsibility when you are leaving? You will always look for the most responsible. Is that true? Yes. Is that true? Yes. Why? Because authority goes to responsibility. At home, you'll choose the most responsible daughter or son. He may not even be the firstborn. Because he's the one who will lock the doors, the gates, they switch off the lights. Authority always goes to one who is responsible. Responsibility and authority go together. So if in your life, you are the one who runs away from responsibility, what you're actually running away from is authority. And so by the time you die, you have no authority whatsoever. You ran away from every responsibility. Every responsibility. You look for a way to run away. And so you feel like your life has been a wasted life. You are not satisfied. So this is why it is important. And when you are teaching young people, teach them to be responsible. Our young people are all the time blaming everybody except themselves. They are the only ones who are blameless. Everybody is. They blame their parents, they blame the local chiefs, they blame the cultural leaders, they blame the religious leaders, they blame the government. We went to Tiak and they were blaming. When they had the whole session was blame everybody who put up, and they knew how to present the problem of the cultural leaders, of the community. I mean, the whole morning they were blaming everybody. We had 2 days of engagement. By the time we finished the second day, and I asked who is responsible for all the problems, all of them changed. They said, it is me. After we had discussed, now they understood it is them. It is not other people. Don't keep blaming people all the time for your voice, for your poverty. No. So when they changed their mind, all of them, when we left, There were about 300 in a hall. They mobilized themselves. They stood for positions of leadership. 3 of them were elected, and they have transformed that place. They have transformed that place since we were, when were we there? We were there in 2020, beginning of 2020. So they had about 9 months, mobilized themselves. Then they were voted into office, 3 of them. The others, you know, they were from all different parties. Yet after, because they listened to the same thing, their party colors, they forgot them. And they all stood together. They said, we must transform Atia. I went back recently and I was amazed at the transformation that has taken place in a very, very short time. Because young people stopped blaming and took responsibility. That's what happens. Eh? That's what happens. We played that clip of that Atiak people with the students recently when we were with them in this hotel here. And all of them changed their mindset. And I pray that we'll get some time to pray for this for them. And you'll see what can happen when people take responsibility and stop blaming. You can keep blaming and you'll have 101 reasons. And you really convince yourself the problem is elsewhere except me. I'm the only one who is perfect. Everybody, my wife is so terrible. My children are only me was created perfect. Perfect in every respect, perfect in every aspect. You can convince it, but it's a deception. Okay? So this is the real issue here. Okay. Now look at how you get authority. Authority and responsibility go together. You take responsibility, you get so much authority. The way it works is like this. If you only do what you are paid for, you sign a contract, I'll teach, okay, so duty is paid for, so you have no further claim. You fulfill a duty, you are paid a certain salary, and you have nothing more to what? To claim. But this is what happens every time you go beyond duty, go beyond and above duty. This upper part here is where you go above and beyond the duty. You exercise dominion only in that area where you go beyond and above what? Duty. Otherwise, the rest of you are the same because you are all paid for the duties that you do. The work that you do, you are paid. But when you go beyond and above duty, this is where you exercise dominion. Your limit and level of authority in the kingdom of God is in that part where you go above and beyond duty. While others are mediocre, while others are giving excuses, you go an extra mile. Jesus called it the extra mile, sorry. How did Jesus call it? He called it the extra mile. I just pressed wrongly. Jesus called it going an extra mile. That part is, this part here is going the extra mile. When somebody demands that you do something, you go an extra mile. Oh, no problem. You have got it. Yeah? In those days, in Jesus' day, the Romans would knock at any door, any time like this lunchtime, they knock at your door. Roman soldier, you come out. What is the man in this house? He's bathing. Come out. Whether he's having lunch, whatever he's doing, you come out. You carry his luggage for what? For 1 mile. You always had a 1 mile mark from your house to on any road that passed by your house. So the colonial Romans were like that. Even if you have just started lunch, you stop there, come and carry his luggage. You go 1 mile. This is one of those things the Jews really hated about the Romans. So they always said the day will come when we rule ourselves, you will see us. They were always bitter. So the 1 mile that they would carry, they would go complaining, abusing them. So Jesus was telling his disciples, for you, when they demand that you go 1 mile, go how many? 2 miles. And say, muni muti abalumi. Mwabulako kumukamafe. So for you, you don't complain. Go talk about, me, witness to them. So it was started a new paradigm. I said, for you, they ask you for 1 mile, go 2. Use that opportunity to talk. I can see that is a totally new paradigm. So Jesus was teaching that's the way you gain authority in my kingdom. You gain authority by going an extra what? Mile. And keep a good heart. Don't complain. Don't grumble. If they give you more work and you grumble, you've missed. And she put it well. Joelia. She said, if all that you work for is to be praised, you have gotten your reward already. That's how Jesus taught. If you do things to be praised by men, you have already got your reward. We have that particular verse, which says exactly that. That if all you do is to be praised by men, and you want men to praise you and say, hey, doctor, you've gotten your reward. But if you do the things where you're not even praised or thanked or appreciated, your reward is great in heaven. So that is a very important. So one of such things is going an extra mile. You go beyond and above duty for your students. You say, I want to make sure all my students pass. I will pray for them. They don't need to even know that you're praying for them. They don't even need to know how much you put in, because God knows you're doing it. And He will honor that. He will use any one of them to be a blessing to you long after you've left. After some time, they will come back and say, well, what, you helped me. Who are you? Oh, I was in the year so and so. I can't remember. He said, yeah, you don't, but I remember. God will one day use and surprise you with any one of them, because for you it is a commitment. You've been doing it consistently. You are helping all the people under you to become better. You are not holding on to that position. You know that after here, in fact, I encourage people, you should only be employed about 10 to 15 years. After that, do your own thing. Plan to only be employed for only what? I know you can't answer me. Anyway, let me say it myself. 15 to 20 people, 10 to 15 years is enough. Okay. After that, plan to have your own consultancy, your own, because first of all, you'll have empowered all these people under you. Number two, because you are working very, very hard, and you've started your own farm, you've started your agriculture farm or consultancy. In that time, 15 years is enough for you to start. You have enough capital to start your own thing, and you'll be amazed how many people follow you. I'm telling you, don't do and die. I have to remain here. I have to. Who is coming? Oh, that. You waste so much energy. What? There are no such people who are called for life on that. That they are going to be there for life in that position, then something is wrong with you. How can you be there for life? No. 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 You can't be there for life. You keep moving from one level to what? To another. You can't make it a career. No. God wants you to evolve from one level to another, to another, to another. And within 15 years, if so long, then it should be only 20 years. That's even very long. In 20 years, you should be able. You keep working very, very hard. Irrespective of what you are in, God will give you enough money based on your work. Whether you are a merchant, whether you are a lecturer, whether you are a doctor, any place where you are, within 10 to 15 years, He'll give you the capital. If this, what I'm sharing, you teach it to your young people, you'll see how easy it is. Succession will be so easy. Succession will be so easy, and it will be peaceful. People will be. Now you don't want it in university, but you want it in politics. Yes. In university, you don't want to peaceful succession, but you demand it in politics. So how will you have it? How come? That's double standards. So you do it first, demonstrate it, live it, and you say, yeah? You see? Because that shows something much deeper in us as Ugandans. We are not free to release what? Others to become, to join us, to all the time keep working yourself out of the job. Look for success. Success without a successor is failure. So look for people under you whom you can mentor, whom you can give skills and what? All the time. God will honor that and will say, he's doing, give him more resources, give him more talent, they'll give you projects, because you are working to, that's what he wants. So they have to look for a way to throw you out. And you go away in a disgrace with curses and no. I want you to pray for your neighbor and say, Lord, help him or her to get to live peacefully. To live peacefully, to live peacefully. I want you to live peacefully. And when you live peacefully, people will keep calling you back. Keep calling you back. This is our mentor. This is our mentor. This is our. They keep calling you back. They are so proud of you because you raised them up. Every time they find you, akwaye chizike, unakwaye ebizike bibili, ebizike mbimanyi. Do you know ebizike? This one is called chizike. Onombade jaga boss komuwa na ye olaba ali. You see?